Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Kevin Hubb, here to give you a review of the 2019 Rome Targa. So I actually owned this binding from last year, and it hasn't changed for this year, and I've rode it on basically everything I own. So the Ride Alter Ego, the Niche Ether, the Arbor Clovis, the Lago Open Road, many others. I used them for Can Kevin Carvet that you're going to see later in the year. I've ridden these bindings a lot on a lot of different stuff in just about every condition you can think of. So adjustability on the Rome Targas is pretty standard for Rome with a couple extra awesome features. So adjust your straps with flip cams, pop them down, adjust your straps, pop them back up. On your ankle straps, you have that bungee there, so when you're tightening that back down, if you want to utilize that to pull your straps out of the way, just make sure you're kind of over tightening the bungee on there. Not the easiest thing to get tightened down, but just force it basically, and you're gonna get it to tighten back down. The frame heel cup, just loosen two bolts, slide it forward, slide it back, get it adjusted to your boot size. The high back just has your standard flip cam, high back rotation, and then my favorite adjustment on these bindings is going to be the pivot mount. So two little mounts on the side of the frame that your straps are actually bolted to that rotate. You've got 8 positions and they rotate 360 degrees. For somebody like me that has in-step pressure issues, these are amazing. It allows me to raise my strap up to get that pressure and any of that pressure off the top of my foot. It does also allow you to change the flex of that binding. If you ride the pivot mounts all the way up like I do, it does stiffen up the binding a little bit because it just grabs onto a little bit higher up on your leg. It just makes that strap feel a little bit stiffer overall. If you ride them all the way down, you don't have in-step pressure issues like I do, then it is going to make it feel softer. It's going to move that strap away from the top of your leg, and it's not going to be quite as supportive. You can also flip them side to side, get a little more support towards one side or the other side depending on which pivot mount you have up. You can also ride it forward, back, at angles. They're amazing. It's by far one of my favorite binding adjustments out in the entire industry. The straps on these are pretty good. I've never had any issues with them. It's something I really like. The ankle straps are of the new injected style. These are definitely a stiffer strap. The Targa is their bomber freeride binding in their line. So these straps are serious business. If you're looking for something you can flex into, you can move around in, not these. These are stiff, they're aggressive, they're supportive, they have a ton of power and a ton of drive that gets your energy down into your board. The toe strap, that's the same across basically the entire Rome line. They're really good. They form across your toe box really well. They're super stretchy, they're grippy, and I've never had a Rome toe strap blow off the toe of my boot. I put a ton of clicks into these ratchets. Never had a problem. They've never frozen on me, they've never bound up, they always release smooth, and they always climb really well. Following with the theme of this binding being stiff, aggressive, and meaty, the high backs are stiff, aggressive, and meaty. They're going to give you all the support you could possibly want out of a high back. They're aggressive and stiff, and they're not super tall. There's definitely taller high backs out there, but they are tall enough to give you all the support you're going to need up at the top portion of them. There's minimal flex out of them, not a ton of torsional flex. They are there to get energy from you into the board as efficiently and strongly as possible. Putting everything together on this binding, you shouldn't be shocked, it's a stiff binding. There's basically 2 schools of thought when it comes to freeride bindings. You've got your stuff that's crazy responsive and crazy reactive. And then you have the other side that's super bomber, just beefy and stiff. And that's where the Targa sits. Full aluminum wrapped heel frame, stiff underfoot frame, stiff high back, stiff straps. Everything is stiff on these guys. I really like that. I'm a lighter rider too, so I'm only 150, 160 pounds, depending on how much food I've eaten that week, and it's not too much binding for me. So if you're looking for a really good, stiff, supportive bomber freeride binding, that's these guys. Rome markets these bindings as their stiff freeride binding, and I think they nail it. This is one of my favorite stiff freeride bindings out there. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what Rome markets this as, take a look at them for sure. Shouldn't be too much of a shock to you that I like this binding. I owned it. They're amazing. They're stiff, they're aggressive, they're supportive, but they're still comfortable. And I think that's where a lot of these really beefy freeride bindings get lost, is they sacrifice some of that comfort to get that really aggressive bomber feel to them. Rome doesn't have to. That's one of the best things about pivot mount, and one of the best things about that injected ankle strap is they still stay comfortable. It's still binding I can be in all day. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Kevin Hub, here talking about the Rome Targa binding. Is this a binding you've been looking at? What do you think about it? What do you think about my thoughts about it? Make a comment, leave a comment, say something to me. If you're new here, click the subscribe button. While you're clicking that, hit the bell. These videos don't do you any good if you don't know they're coming out. Also, if you're new here, check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. It's the best way to support these projects, keep these reviews coming, and keep projects coming to you. I'll see you in another video.